So we're mates from the canal. There's Nick and Danny, Jason Vic, Gavin and his girl, Spencer with a straw house, Bezzy with a barge. I say a small one to kick off, they say no. We're having it large. Having it large. We're having it large. We're having it large. We're having it large. Having it large. We're having it large. We're having it large. Out backstage like some rocking refugee. Jason's packing Carlsberg down his spandex to the knee. Next to all you fluffy folk, I feel a tad barrage. So dress me up and do your worst, cause tonight we're having it large. Having it large. We're having it large. We're having it large. We're having it large. Having it large. We're having it large. We're having it large. So off we trot into the night with vodka, rum and coke, munching tasty triangles from that circus bloke. No officer did not imbibe, I never had none, Sarge. If you don't mind, I'm on my way, cause tonight we're having it large. Having it large. We're having it large. Having it large. We're having it large. Having it large. We're having it large. We're having it large. Staggering from stage to stage, no clue where they've all gone. Every time I see a band, they're doing their last song. Sound systems are shutting down, bars no longer charge, but that's okay, cause everyone knows tonight we're having it large. Everyone, having it large. Come on, oh, having it large. We're having it large. We're having it large. All together. We're having it large. We're having it large. We're having it large. Daybreak dawns with searing sun, eyelids stuck like glue. No one quite knows where they've been or who did what with who. I say I'll get the coffees in to go with toast and Marge. Will you be having regular? What do you think? We're having it large. Having it large. We're having it large. Having it large. All together. We're having it large. Having it large. 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 Yeah, we're having it large. Having it large. We're having it large. Having it large. Having it large. Thank you very much. Good night. Still here then? Oh, it's a bit awkward, isn't it? It's weird, isn't it? Saying goodbye and leaving a situation can actually be really quite awkward. You know, I've got this thing, it feels like kind of social inertia. It's the tendency to act in a constant state unless acted on by an external influence. And so apologies to any of you whose parties I've been at. You've been trying to get rid of me at the end.
But it's so much of a gig. You get to the end of the gig and the adrenaline's going and you have a beer and you just think, oh, I'd quite like to play some more music now. And, but it's over. So it's a bit awkward, really. But I kind of wonder, is that reluctance to saying goodbye and to leave a situation, does it have some kind of, does it reflect some inner, awkwardness and fear of the big goodbye? As in the end, the death. Let's name it, let's call it death. We're not allowed to talk about it for some reason. It's this mad taboo that we can't talk about, but we're all heading for it. We're all heading that way, and it's part of life. It's got to be part of life. Without death, we wouldn't have life. But somehow we're really scared of it. And for me, excuse these guys, they just got to pack up, so yeah. But you don't mind if I chat a bit, do you? I think we've got a few minutes till it kicks in. But yeah, I didn't really have to confront death until I was in my mid-20s. And it was an old school friend of mine. And the way I kind of dealt with it and made sense of it was that it felt to me like he was on another level. He was like, he'd reached this kind of next plane and was ready to move on. It's like, he'd won this level and he was moving up to the next one. And I genuinely felt like he'd lived in 25 years more than I'm only to do in 90 if I'm lucky. So I'll give an example of what it was like. We were at sixth form together, and this probably sounds stupid, but it's around that time when you start going to parties. And it was before the kind of dance explosion of the 80s and 90s, and it was at a time when you go to a party and the blokes would just be sort of stood around the edge, sort of awkwardly with their beer like this, and hoping to make eye contact with someone offensive, or get drunk enough that you'd lose your inhibition. And all the girls would, dance away, enjoying themselves. And then Alistair, my mate, was off in the corner, and he'd be in his own little world, dancing away. And we used to go, okay then, But actually, on the inside, I thought, that's pretty cool. If only I could have that lack of inhibition and just have the freedom to express myself in the way that he's doing. And it was genuinely like he was ahead of the curve. When we finished school, he went on a scholarship to Iceland to study volcanic activity, and then he went travelling. He seemed to get around most of the planet, to the extent that a few years later I bumped into him in our local pub, and a friend of mine had just been told some awful news that he'd been diagnosed with a condition that his dad had died of in his early 40s. And his GP had said, well, I'm afraid you're probably going to live to a similar age. So he thought, well, if I get a career, I'm just going to do a job for a little while and go travelling. So I introduced him to my friend Alistair, and he decided that, my mate had decided that his dream was to hitchhike to Tibet. So I said, yeah, Alistair will know what to do. And sure enough, he didn't miss a beat, and he went, yeah, what you do is you go to Earl's Court, you find the Australians there, you buy yourself a camper van, you go down to Calais, get the ferry across, and then drive down through Gibraltar, and you can go down through North Africa and miss this bit because there's a bit of a conflict zone there. And he had the whole thing in his head. It was like, from Little Sandhurst to Tibet. No problem at all. And so, I was kind of in awe of this guy. And then years later, having not seen him for several years, I'd kind of started to find myself and realise what I wanted to do in my life. And I'd gone and studied music. And I was in my second year at college studying. And I'd been on this exchange program. I'd been to America. And just come back from there. And in the local pub, it was around Christmas time, and there's my mate Alistair. And I said to him, oh, brilliant to see you. I said, I've just come back from the States. I've been studying there. And it came out with all this shit about America and how restrictive it is and how you can't drink until you're 21 but you can own a gun. Just lots of negative stuff. He came straight back at me and he went, oh yeah, I've just been to the South Pole. Of course. I'm an astrophysicist now. Of course. And he said, yeah, and there were loads of Americans there, and weren't they brilliant people? They were just so open and positive and go-getting, and he made me feel this big. And I just thought, yeah, that is the difference between us. He always saw the good in people, and he just didn't bother himself with any negativity. And so he was a real inspiration. But nonetheless, I felt like I was kind of starting to catch up with him, and I said, oh, you must come and visit me in London and meet my mates there. And it felt like a really good time to be sort of rekindling this friendship. Two weeks later, I got a telephone call. He'd been going to go skiing up in Scotland, hit some black ice, run off the road, and been killed in a nasty accident. And I didn't know what to do with that information. I was 24, 25. I'd not had anybody from my immediate world disappear before, and I really didn't quite know how to process that information. So I went along to the funeral, and by this point, we'd kind of, we'd moved on. There weren't any of our peer group around anymore, so I only really knew one person there, which was his sister, who I'd known at school. So me and my mate, actually the same mate he told how to get to Tibet, we kind of skulked into the back of the chapel, sat ourselves down. And there was one other person there that I didn't know. He was local vicar, and I don't want to put a downer on anyone's religious beliefs or anything, but he was not a poster boy for the Church of England. He was like everybody's mental caricature, and he kind of was very pious, and he talked down to you. There was no humanity or warmth about him. And he talked about Alistair like he'd never known him, whereas he'd been the local vicar in our primary school. He'd come into school all the time. Alistair's family had been regular churchgoers, and he just trotted out all this stuff, and I felt disappointed and a bit angry, to be honest. And he finished up, and then Alistair's sister stood up, and she started to read out some poetry, and it was what he'd written when he was at the South Pole, and it was all the stuff that he'd been telling me about when I'd seen him 2 weeks before, and I just broke. I just floods of tears, and I was just sobbing my heart out at the back of the church. And I felt really awkward, which is crazy, because if you can't cry in a church at a funeral of one of your mates, then when can you? But I had all this kind of awkward middle class thing that I felt like all these other people there were closer to him than me for some reason. They were his close family and friends, and they had their shit together, and I was the one losing it. So at the end of the thing, his mum said, "Oh, come back to the house. We're having a wake. Do come." I couldn't face it, and then me and my mate just went to the pub, and we had a couple of beers in Alistair's honour, and which was stupid. I should have gone to the house. I should have surrounded myself with people that knew and loved him, and that would have been a really positive experience. But kind of didn't do it. What I did do was write a song, and I think, bloody hell, it's going fast. I'm going to use this microphone while it's still working. So this is my song for Alistair, who was an inspiration. And it doesn't really have a title because I don't really have occasion to sing it very often, but we'll call it Every Day is an Adventure. It goes like this. Much more than the icy cold, but you learned your lesson well. So young, but then so old. Oh, Alistair, where did you go? Alistair, what did you know? Alistair, where are you now? Alistair. Every day is an adventure. That's what you used to say. Like the sunrise in winter. Life gets more beautiful each day. Life gets more beautiful each day. In the chapel, those empty words don't reach my ears, but then they read your poetry, and I just that's what you used to say. Like the sunrise in winter, your life gets more beautiful each day. 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 So I never got to tell him what I've just told you, what an inspiration he was, what an amazing bloke he was. And, it's to my lasting regret. And I think sometimes, we need to remind ourselves to do that a bit more often. And I guess, I think we're right for a bit. I guess the next time I had to sort of confront somebody leaving me was my grandma. And of course you expect that, don't you? Your grandma dying, it's pretty much a given. But weirdly, did I say something funny? Any grandmothers in? Has anyone bought you a drink this evening? Make sure they taste it first. You know what I mean. Oh no, I feel really, really awkward now. I might just skip that bit. But there was, in stark contrast to the vicar at my mate's funeral, the vicar there said something that I found really helpful. And he said, when somebody who's older, much older than you, madam, leaves us, we feel like we shouldn't be sad because, we expect it. But he said, actually, it's the opposite. They've always been there. They've been a major part of our world. So, you're right to be upset, and it's okay. Have a cry. And I thought, I wish someone had said that to me at my mate's funeral, because that was really what I needed to hear at that point. And it was properly comforting. Now, just a little while before she left us, as it happens to a lot of people who live to a ripe old age, she was in her 90s, she was starting to kind of descend into dementia a little bit. And we had a birthday party for her. And it was really noticeable that at this party, she honed in on one person, and he was my nephew, who was just a little toddler, even a baby in arms, I can't remember at the time, but he was certainly very young. And there was this incredible connection. So it's like the next generation on was just starting to happen. My brother's wife had a baby. And it felt to me like, as her consciousness was sort of just starting to shut down, his was just coming up. And it almost felt like she was passing on the baton, and she was saying, I've had my go, and now it's your turn, you carry on. And I take real comfort in that, because it's just sort of, it just shows you the cyclical nature. Nothing really ends, it just gets passed on. And ultimately, things have to make way. We see it in nature all the time. And when you start a family yourself, I think you become painfully aware of that. You really sort of not only are aware of the fact that they're going to carry on your legacy, you also think about what role you're going to have to play in that, and whether you're going to be a good influence or a bad influence. And it's actually kind of exciting and daunting at the same time. I know there's a lot of parents here. And when we started a family, I remember the other thing is, you get so much bloody advice from everybody, don't you? And a lot of it quite negative. And so if anyone here is starting a family, just to tune out the negative shit, because honestly, the whole thing is great. But the other thing was, probably from a lot of drama and films and stuff, I was expecting that when I first clapped eyes on my baby, I would be like smacked by this tsunami of love. And it was an incredibly exciting time, and an amazing experience. And of course, I fell in love with my baby daughter, but actually my focus was on my wife at the time, and it took a little bit longer, and I think it might be again about sort of, as her consciousness started to come to the fore, and she started to really make communication and look me in the eye and smile, then it suddenly hit me. So it was a few weeks in. And I felt like it was just a really potent time. There was all this potential with this new life. Who is she going to be? What's she going to become? And what influence am I going to have on that? And I also felt it was very beholden on me personally to try and keep growing in myself and keep developing And luckily, it was a great time for me. I had lots of things going on. I was here in Bath, and I've been here a little while, and the sort of connections that I'd been making were starting to filter through, and I was doing live stuff, and I was starting to work with theatre productions, and I got to write music for my first film, which is quite exciting. And so I went off to see the premiere of this film. Now, don't get excited, you will never ever see this film. It was a low/no-budget production, but nonetheless, it was a film. And so I was on the train to go up and see this premiere, and I got a little notebook out, and I started writing a poem for my baby daughter, because I wanted to just let these feelings come out in some kind of order that I could make sense of. And went out, spent the weekend, saw the film, had a great night, stayed over with a friend, had a few drinks, and the director said he wanted to make a video of one of my songs, and I was thinking, this is great, the world's good, I've got a baby daughter who's going to grow up to be whatever, and things are starting to happen for me personally, it's wonderful. So I got on the train to come home, and I got my notebook out again, I turned to a clean page, and I thought, right, I'm going to write a note to the universe to say, no holds barred, this is what I'd like to happen. So it was pyramid stage appearance at Glastonbury. Top of the pops. I'll buy a house in Cornwall, and another one near my family in Germany. And I can't remember, there's other things, but they were the highlights. And send it out into the universe and see what comes back. And the universe answered almost instantaneously in a very oblique fashion, to the extent that I didn't even recognise it until quite a while afterwards. But what happened was this guy got on the train with a guitar, and he's in his own world, he's got headphones on, and he's recording away, and he's playing around these chords, sits at the end of the carriage, excuse me. And a bit like my friend Alistair, I was kind of instantly in awe of the guy for being able to do that completely without any self-consciousness. He was in his own world, there was no ego about him, he wasn't showing off. And I turned to the page where I've been writing a poem for my daughter, and started kind of humming along to his chords, and thought, I realised that I could make a song out of these words to this stranger's chords on the train. So I had a look and sort of wrote them down, and tinkered around, ended up with the basis for a song, and I'd given him the thumbs up and what he was doing. So he finished up, packed all his stuff up, and he came and sat in the empty chair next to me, and we got chatting away. And I thought, great, this could be the start of a new collaboration. He's on the train, he's coming my way. We're both going home potentially, and I said, are you going away? Are you going home? He said, no, I'm off home. I've just bought a house near Cheddar, where I grew up. I said, oh, nice. You're doing all right for yourself then, because he was a young bloke. And he said, yeah, I'm doing all right. Things are pretty good. I've just been in the Maldives with a band, shooting a video. Actually, I've just blown the story. I didn't tell you that bit till later. Anyway, but he said, yeah, I'm doing all right. I just bought a house in Cheddar, and near my folks. and I said, oh, you in the band? You doing much at the moment? And he said, yeah, I'm in the band. We're doing all right. We're called Reef. That's good. I knew that. It's like split the audience down, on age lines. So during the mid to late 1990s, Reef were riding high in the charts, and so it's just sort of a few years before I met this guy. And they played the Pyramid Stage at Glastonbury. They'd been on Top of the Pops. He just bought a house near his folks. It's like, hold on, you're living my life. But I didn't twig, actually. The Maldives thing gave it away a bit. I didn't twig straight away who Reef was, because I said, I think I've heard of you. I think we've done festivals together. And thinking some little festival out in the middle of nowhere. And of course we had. While he was playing the Pyramid Stage, I was off in the cafe in the Greenfields at Glastonbury somewhere. I'll put that down. It's a bit awkward, isn't it? I would pass it around, but I'm not going to. So so then we came through Box Tunnel, and after that he went, oh, there's Peter Gabriel's place over there. So yeah, we recorded there. Yeah, nice guy. We played lots of table tennis together. And then the penny dropped, and I realised who Reef was, and I suddenly become pathetically tongue-tied, and I kind of reverted back to this kind of like awkward, geeky middle-class bloke. Whereas we'd just been two blokes on the train up until that point, having a lovely chat, and now suddenly it felt like if I was to say, oh, let's keep in touch, it would feel like I was trying to, get something out of it. But what I did do was I wrote the song, I got home, I finished it, and I recorded it, and I did try to send it to him via his management. No idea if he ever heard it. He's not come knocking on my door, that's for sure. But since we're all still here, and I don't think we're going to be chucked out just yet, I'll play you this song because of this. So this was for my baby daughter, and it's called To Have or To Be. A natural state of grace falls upon your face. Rays of brilliant sun light up everyone, light up everyone. Set me free, you let me see choices here within me. The magic that you see has set this in it free. The joy that's in your heart was with him from the start, always there from the start. Set me free, you let me see choices here within me, deep within me. Set me free, you let me see choices here within me, to have or to be. A pure and simple love that shines from up above. The prism of your birth brings into focus here on earth. Set me free, you let me see choices here within me, deep within me. Set me free, you let me see choices here within me, to have or to be. Jaded and the old must rally and be bold. You teach them what they know, and you let what's hidden show. Set me free, you let me see choices here within me, deep within me. Set me free, you let me see choices here within me. You set me free, here within me, deep within me. You set me free, to have or to be. So yeah, really exciting time. Life was good, things were happening. And we had a second baby a couple of years later. We were living down in the Dolmead, some of you might know it. It's a wonderful little red brick area by the station in the middle of town. And it was a really kind of funky area back there, a mixture of social housing and sort of affordable rent. Imagine that. So it was quite a creative sort of vibe around. And I was probably having one of the happiest times of my life. It was absolutely so exciting and gorgeous. But sadly, around this time, between our daughter being born and our son, my mother-in-law over in Germany had some quite serious heart problems. They had to do major bypass surgery on her, and which went okay, but we didn't know, how she was going to fare after that. She decided, and my father-in-law decided, that the family home where my wife and her brother and sister had grown up was really too much for them now, and they said, look, we want to move into a little flat, why don't you come and rent the house? And we'd always thought at some point we'd go and live over there because we wanted our children to be in touch with their German heritage and learn the language and explore all that, and you know, it was a great opportunity for me as well to go and live somewhere else. But it was it wasn't when we were expecting it to happen, and I took it really badly actually, because I was wrenched out of the situation where I felt like I'd kind of found a place where I fitted in and wanted to be, and then suddenly was taken away from that. So, and you can imagine, there we were with two little ones in the house over in Germany, and there was slamming doors and stamping of feet and tantrums and yelling. They were fine. No, I was a bit of a disaster. And then I started worrying, because thinking again about, excuse me, about these cycles and how we pass things on. I started worrying. Oh, dear. Someone else might have to take over. I started worrying about the influence this was going to have on our little boy, because our daughter had 2 years during which I'd been about as calm as I ever get, which isn't very calm, but I was really making an effort, and I was being positive, and I was trying to take people like my friend Alistair's example, and be supportive for my wife and everything. And now, during the first 2 years of our son's life, the formative years, I was a bloody disaster. I was losing my temper, and it wasn't, I'm not proud of it, it wasn't good. And I genuinely thought, oh shit, this could be history repeating, because I'd had a pretty dysfunctional relationship with my own dad, and I thought, am I going to pass this on? Is this going to perpetuate itself? But what happened was, one day, my boy, Florian, gave me a very strong signal that actually things were okay. And it was our daughter's 5th birthday over in Germany, and she was at kindergarten at this point, so she had all her chums coming out, and there were boys and girls, and with no influence from us, I've got to say, the girls all took themselves off into the kitchen, and they sat around the table, and they did face painting, and they made pictures, and played nicely together, and the boys just wanted to kick the shit out of each other. So I thought, right, the best thing I can do is engage with the boys and stop them trashing the house. So I did. So there I was in the living room, kind of play fighting with these boys. And so these are 5-year-olds. Florian's 3 at the time. He walks in the door. He sees these bigger boys fighting with his dad, and he comes in, and no joking, he fights them off. And I'm actually well enough now thinking. And I thought, bloody hell, I can't have damaged him too badly, because he's prepared to put himself on the line for me. So I wrote a song about it. And this song is called Night in Tiny Arm. Got to apologise for my guitar playing now. Like I say, you get to the end of the night, you're full of adrenaline. It makes no difference to me. I'm still a shit guitarist. Mum and sister took more love than I knew I had inside. Loved up, blissed out and happy, just to enjoy the ride. I waited for the feelings to come flooding through my bones, but they were overshadowed by the pain between our homes. Who is this little man who makes me laugh until I cry? Strong beyond your size, proudly standing by. And if anyone should hurt me, bravely attack my hammer. I know I'll always love my night in tiny armor. Oedipus sure is complex, don't pretend to understand, but you can't ignore the context, wanna hold your mama's hand. Though we may comes down to survival, on you I will depend. 'Cause you are this little man who'll fight for me until I die. Strong beyond your size, proudly standing by. And if anyone should hurt me, bravely attack Mama. I know I'll always love my night in Tiny Amma, my night in Tiny Amma. Oh. And through all the trouble that is sure to ensue, for me it will be double, had it with my daddy too. But you can be grateful for the proud name that he gave you. It would have been just hateful to have been a boy named Sue. 'Cause you are this little man who'll fight with me until we die. Strong beyond your size, proudly standing by. But if anyone should hurt me, bravely attack Mama. I know I'll always love my night in Tiny Amma, my night in Tiny Amma, my night in Tiny Amma. Come to defend me, my night in Tiny Amma. Brave as can be, my night in Tiny Amma. Although you're only 3, my night in Tiny Hammer. I'll tell you what, it's a good thing I didn't mess him up, because he's now bigger than me and a black belt in karate. So don't mess with me. So yeah. So around this time, as I said, we were living over in Germany, and I did my best to integrate. I learned the language, I got involved with the local culture, and but honestly, really, I've got nothing to complain about. It was a beautiful, well, it is a beautiful part of the world. It was right near the Alps. We were swimming in the lakes. We could cycle everywhere. And frankly, I should have just woken up and smelled the breakfast, because I had nothing to complain about. But I did keep up my connections over here, and as I said, things had started to kind of roll over here. It was good, and I got involved with some theatre productions as a composer. So I was really lucky that they were funded productions, and I was able to fly back over here and do work here. And one of the visits back over, I popped in to see an old neighbour of ours, and she was a lovely lady called Hersey, an artist. And across the road from us lived this guy, Barry Maunder, who I don't know, some of you may have known. I first met him in the sort of mid-90s when I first came to Bath, and he was working at the Environment Centre, which back then was at the top of Milsom Street. It's a fish restaurant now. And he was their transport manager. Now, in this city, anyone who's local will know that if you think of environmental concerns, you're probably going to think about transport as pretty much number one. So he was quite a key figure there. And he campaigned tirelessly for a better deal for cyclists and pedestrians and more sustainable transport. But at this point in time, during that period, there was a hell of a lot of complacency abroad. And there wasn't a lot of political will or activity as there is 5 finally again now. So he was pretty much a lone voice, and he wasn't everyone's cup of tea. I mean, some of the traders literally wouldn't be happy unless the delivery van could drive in the back of their shop and the punters could drive in the front. And he used to stand up against people like that, so not always so popular. But anyway, Hersey, my neighbour, she said, did you hear about Barry? I said, no. And she said, I don't really know how to tell you this. She said, they cut the funding for his job, which instantly I thought, well, that's odd. You know, as I said, in the Environment Centre, probably, if you cut all the jobs, that should be one of the last ones standing. But for whatever reason, lost his funding. And then she said, yeah, he became very, very ill, and then he died. And I was pretty gobsmacked by that information, because as far as I knew, he'd been perfectly well the last time I'd seen him. And I couldn't help thinking, you know, it was interesting that here's a guy who he had his vocation, he absolutely lived for his job and for all his activism and his campaigning, and when that was taken away from him, then suddenly he wasn't there anymore. So I thought, yeah, one of the things that Barry had been instrumental in was Car Free Day. Car Free Day. Isn't it gorgeous? When you can walk down the middle of Milsom Street without any fear of being run over, and you can hear the birds singing, and you can feel the breeze on your skin, and the weight of your feet through the earth. Oh no, that's another show. Anyway, that's for people who are here for the first one. But yeah, and it's just fabulous, isn't it? Car Free Day, don't we love it? Does it happen? Does it still happen? I don't think it still happens anymore, and I'm not sure how long it lasted. And even then, it had waned horribly, even within a few years. But ironically, over in Germany where we're living, they picked it up and run with it, and all over mainland Europe. Somebody told me it started here. I don't know if that's true or not, but let's pretend that it did, because that sounds pretty cool. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be good if we take the opportunity to celebrate Barry and all the work he did, and also maybe get a bit of media attention and reinvigorate Car Free Day. So let's rename it as Barry Maunder Day, and we'll go to the press and we'll start a whole thing. Sadly, this was before social media, so I did go back to Germany and I fired off a couple of emails and made a few phone calls, but didn't really get very far, if I'm honest. But I did write a song. Really gonna change the world. Anyway, so yeah, in all seriousness, this is to celebrate Barry and all he did. It's called Barry Maunder Day. It goes like this. Travel is a privilege and not a right of birth. Would you rape your own sweet mother? Why then do it to the earth. You may ridicule this point of view, it may be the cause of mirth, but the kilojoules you're saving are just adding to your girth. I lived in a fair city where to care was not a joke. Many people had the guts to live the way they spoke. When the hand that feeds was bitten, its reaction was to choke. Now we mourn the passing of one dedicated bloke. We can't afford green transport, but it's also cheap to fly. The nice folk of the global village don't need to ask why. They drive to farmers' markets in a spotless four-wheel drive. The organic yogurt in the fridge, the only culture that's alive. So here's my quest for you, my plan, what do you say? Let's cut the engines once a year on Barry Maunder Day. They say the world is getting smaller, well I don't really know. How can that be sustained when to survive you've got to grow? And the only thing that's shrinking is the cells inside our brains. When love and hope are pensioned off, greed's all that remains. So here's my quest for you, my plan, what do you say? Cut the engines once a year on Barry Maunder Day. The Iron Lady had a dream so big and reform of personal mobility and holidays abroad. Like all such dreams, the corresponding nightmare wasn't far. Worldwide corporate tyranny is the real cost of the car. And individual freedom is found not in brake horsepower,
but the right to roam throughout the land, the time to smell a flower. One car, 3 days, too big a task, one job, too much to spare. One planet can't be far behind. Oblivion, I'll drive you there. So here's my quest for you, my plan, what do you say? Cut the engines once a year on Harry Wonder Day. We pave over green and pleasant lands, choke the earth until it's blue. We throw our hands up in despair and say, what can I do? Well, here's a thought for starters, here's my plan, what do you say? And let's cut the engines once a year on Barry Wonder Day. So here's my quest for you, my plan, what do you say? Cut the engines once a year on Barry Wonder Day. Here's my quest for you, my plan, what do you say? Let's cut the engines once a year, Barry Wonder Day. Go down the bell, drink some beer on Barry Wonder Day. Reclaim the streets and party here, Barry Wonder Day. So, yeah. And Barry, again, is that going? Oh, bloody hell, it's all going fast. I love it, I have to speed up. So, yeah, Barry was another person. I didn't get a chance to tell him what I really thought about him, how I valued the work that he'd done during those years of complacency when we were all remortgaging our shed to get a frappuccino or something. Now, around the same time, I hit a certain age. And I don't want you to guess because it could be insulting, but I was coming up to 40. And, thinking about how we pass things on and how kind of there's these cycles in life that are always going onwards. We always talk about life begins at 40. And for me, it was weird. I think the run up to 40, there felt like there was so much pressure because you think, oh shit, I'm going to be properly old now, my body's going to start packing up. And you start thinking about all the things you thought you would have achieved by that age and that you haven't, and start to reevaluate. And I think a lot of people have a bit of a crisis soon thereafter. But actually, I got to the other side of it and I started thinking, oh, hold on, I am living in this beautiful place. And the world is good. And I've got 2 beautiful kids. And I've got a life. I've got a wife who loves me. I've got a life as well. I've got a life who loves me. And I thought, it's not so bad after all, actually. So, I wrote a song about it. Yeah, Stevie just came and gave me the nod, actually. I think this is going to have to go as well, isn't it? We're getting to that point. Yeah, sorry. So, I hate to put this on you, but we are starting to run out of time. Some people are going to help you, but if we can start from the back of the room, I'm afraid the chairs need to go away. So if you can take, just as directed, we'll take one row at a time and stack them to the back. You'll be shown where to do it. I'm going to play this song while you do that, and it's the lyrics aren't so heavy on this one. But when you put your chairs away, wait, don't all go at once, you'll be told. But when your chairs are stacked away, come down the front and have a little dance. That'd be really nice.
alright now. Better anyway, yeah. Life begins. 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 Thank you so much. Wow! What a great crowd. Look, you have fun here. That's fantastic. So I meant to say before that, if there's anyone who's elderly or infirm, there are seats available in the sides. Oh no, I've done it again! This is my grandmother, everyone. Right. So, oh, okay. Blimey, okay. So, sorry about this, but, yeah, look at that point. Yeah, he's got it. So, Harold.
Germany, we thought it'd be great to have I really enjoyed that because he's a teacher at the back of the room there. I did my teacher moment, that was really good. So, he's listening. I forgot what I was going to say. No, yeah, so I turned 40 and I thought, I'll have a big party. So, from Germany, I managed to organise everything. I booked a place just outside Bath called Roxy East Woodland, which you might know. Beautiful place, you can camp there, and you have fires and everything. And along the way, someone said, oh, we would invite Fergus. Now, Fergus was the first friendship I struck up when I was music video. And I hadn't spoken to him for several years, so I phoned him up and I told him, apologies if you were the first show you heard this bit, but I'll skip over it very quickly. But I phoned him up and I said, yeah, we're going to have this lovely weekend, someone's got kids, they'll do games, face painting, and some people will do yoga or tai chi, and everyone will bring something to the party, and in the evening we'll sit down and have fun and we'll sing songs and play music. He said, you fucking hippie! I can drink to that! That was my dear friend Fergus. But he was that kind of bloke. He was this big, kind of Brian Blessed of a man, barrel-chested, deep voice. He had a full beard, which back then was unusual for somebody. And trust me, mop of hair, always wore a beret. And people misunderstood him because he was loud like that and very direct. People didn't see below the surface, but underneath he was an absolute Christian, and he was one of the kind of best friends I ever had. But the most important thing about him was he was the most astonishing musician. And when I met him, he was a specialist stride jazz piano player. I don't know if many of you know what that means, but essentially, it's when you hear early jazz music, the left-handed piano goes chunk, 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 like that. And what they're doing is they're playing the bass note and these chords, which are infinitely mutable, like this, changing it as they go along, which in itself is crazy. Then they play the tune over the top with the other hand, and they solo over the top of that. It's just astonishing. So that alone, I was in awe of the guy. But he also, unbeknownst to most of the people we studied with, had been to the Royal Academy in his teens and studied classical double bass. And he had an encyclopedic knowledge of all kinds of music. And what was astonishing for me was when I started at college, he was playing around North London with some of the top vintage jazz players around, and invited me into their world, and I actually got to play gigs with these people who were not on guitar, on drums. These people were head and shoulders above me musically, but because he sensed I was somebody who could tone in, I could listen and play the music rather than the theory, we got on, and it was the start of a beautiful friendship. Anyway, fast forward to my 40th birthday. He didn't come, as advertised, but he did come and visit us in Germany, and him and his wife had become really serious wine experts. And yeah, they said, yeah, we'll come and stay a night, and they stayed for 8 nights, and drank just about every red wine in the area, and then they were popping over to Austria and just looking for all the best wines. And we had an absolute ball. Did the same thing the following year. I won't tell the whole story because if you missed the first show, you've missed it. So. But he got a brain tumour, and he was diagnosed with brain tumour. It was inoperable, and they knew that. So after the second time they'd been to Germany, the next opportunity I had to visit him was I was coming over to again for a theatre project here, and he was in a hospice in North London. And I didn't really know what the prognosis was. I thought, if he's in a hospice, that probably means one thing, but I didn't know for sure. So I thought, in my mind, I was going to pitch up, I was going to chat to his wife and find out exactly what was going on, and then I could have some time with him and we'd have a proper heart-to-heart, it would be, a special time. But what actually happened was, I arrived there, they were both in this little room together. He was pretty incapacitated and not able to communicate at this point. And I couldn't really ask his wife in front of him, what's Fergus's chances? That wouldn't have been really very good. But worse than that, I didn't have the gumption, or the moral fibre, or whatever it was, to tell him in front of his wife what he meant to me. And
that is something of lasting regret. Now, they did the chemotherapy, they did the radiotherapy, and he had a big reprieve, and this was Christmas time, and he was able to go home and spend Christmas with his family. His brother's wife had a baby, and that was a really special time, and he was there for all of that. Next time I saw him, again, I was coming over for work over here, called in, and he was back in hospital, so he was back on the direction downwards, and this time it was only going one way, and that was clear. And now he was able to communicate. But now, his wife warned me, he's in absolute denial. He's not engaging with the fact that he's going to die whatsoever. So then I couldn't really go there. I didn't feel like I could say to him my big goodbye. So I never got the chance to tell Fergus what he meant to me, how much I appreciated all the things he'd done for me. But I did, it sounds really foolish now, but I did write a song about that. I'm really be honoured if I could play it for you. In camera. And this is called Don't Be Fooled. And it is for my friend Fergus. So bear with me. Don't be fooled. Inside there beats a heart of gold. Of gentle giants is often told. Here he is before your eyes. His love for life gives him his size. Well, ask, he'll give you everything. He'll stand by you through thick and thin. The loudest laugh, the brightest star. A friend for life, near or far. Don't be fooled. Behind those strident chords is a harmony, delicate, pure and refined, like the gentle aroma of a good vintage wine. As the grape needs a strong vine to grow and temper over time, with roots deep and true, we'll always be right there for you. Though your eyes are stinging, that fat lady, she ain't singing. Don't be fooled, this can't be goodbye. The music never ends, the laughter never fades, the flavor never pales, the love will never die. Don't be fooled, love can't die. No, don't be fooled. This great strong man, he ain't afraid to share your hopes and your fears. Though you may never get to see his private tears, he'll say, life goes on, pick up the mood, put on a song for you. He's hale and hearty. Drop a hat, he'll throw a party. Though your eyes are singing, that fat lady, she ain't singing. Don't be fooled, this can't be goodbye. The music never ends, the laughter never fades, the flavor never fades, the love will never die. Don't be fooled, love can't die. No, love can't die. No, love can't die. No, love can't die. Love can't die. No, love can't die. Don't be fooled. Inside there beats a heart of gold. Gentle giants is often told. Here he is before your eyes. His love for life gives him his size. Ask, he'll give you everything. Stand by you through thick and thin. The loudest laugh, the brightest star. Friend for life, near or far. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. So Fergus was absolutely, an amazing person to have in my life. Now I've got to share this with you. A few days ago, I was ill-advisedly sending out an awful lot of messages to try to whip up support for tonight. So apologies if I overdid that. A couple of people commented. And one of the emails I sent out around Robin, it said something like, it said 6 days and counting. My friend Jay, who lives in Barcelona, who's another jazz musician who knew Fergus very, very well, came straight back and he said, "Well, I misread that. I thought it was 7 days and counting." He said, "I think Fergus is looking down on us." He had no idea that I was going to involve Fergus in the show, so I don't know, maybe he is. Apologies for using that word, everybody. Younger people in the room than I realise. Anyway, bunting is what you do. Christmas, isn't it? It's lovely. Very common. Now, also around that time, while I was at London studying, I met a lot of amazing people, obviously. It was like, I've got to say, it was like Kids from Fame. I was on a modular music course based on the American system, but alongside it, ran this course called Performing Arts. And it really was Kids from Fame. It was basically all the people who couldn't get into Music Academy, all the people who couldn't get into the Dance Academy, and all the people who couldn't get into the proper drama school. All thrown into one place. I sent some basketball university students in there. But what it does, and I hope that if there are people in that situation, it actually created a really amazing creative environment in which we were actively encouraged to really test boundaries and push the boat out and do crazy shit. For some of us, that's never gone away. Now, within a few days of starting that, I saw these posters around the campus, and it said auditions for Pink Floyd The Wall. And I thought, I can't believe it. Does anyone remember Pink Floyd The Wall? It was an iconic album that came out right at the beginning of the 1980s, so I know some of you won't remember it. But ask your grandparents. I was obsessed with this album when it came out, to the extent I listened to it over and over again. I knew every word, I knew every note, I knew all the artwork. I was studying art at the time. I painted a massive mural in my bedroom, all based on all the staff artwork that went with the album. It was just so, and it spoke to me as an angst-ridden teenager. It was about me. It was my album. About 5 million other people, of course. But. So I saw these posters and I thought, brilliant. I've got to get involved. So I thought, right, I'll find a musical director. It was a big production, so there was a director, there was a musical director, there was a stage manager, there was a choreographer, there was dance involved. So I found the musical director, Miles, of course, and I said, "Miles, mate, you've got to let me play drums on it because I know this backwards." And he went, "Sorry, mate, all two." And when someone says a name to you and they use the first name and the second name like that, it has a certain weight to it. Paul Tilley was the third-year drummer of choice, and he was head and shoulders above me as a drummer. He could play the guitar, he could play the piano, he could sing, and he was a nice bloke. I couldn't even bloody hate him. Anyway, he got the gig, so I backed off. But the other thing happened, so within moments of starting college as well, I'd fallen into playing in this band, and it wasn't part of the course, we were just doing gigs here and everywhere. And we were in rehearsal one day, and the keyboard player, Charlie, said, "Do you mind if we just break for a minute? Because one of the drama students wants to come in and run through an audition piece." So he comes into the room, and he sings through the song, and we listen. He leaves the room. We pick ourselves up off the floor and say, "Jesus, that was awful, wasn't it? That was so bad. Why don't we all go and audition?" And so there and then, we put down our instruments, we went along, put our names down on the list, and we all just went in. And the director of the piece, Andy, he loved the fact that we all turned up spontaneously. We were all in this band together, and it was Pink Floyd, and he said, "Yeah, cool. That was our tune ready." So we all got part in the show. And it was a really important moment for me because I'd never encountered this world of theatre before. And suddenly, I'm in a room with all these, I've got to say, some of them were gorgeous, and that's just the bloke. We're playing truth games and trust games, and we've got this physical and spiritual and emotional openness to one another that I'd never encountered. And it totally blew my mind, and I just thought, wow, this is where I want to be. Now, we did the show, it was a big success, it was incredible fun to be part of. I pretty much ignored my studies for the first semester while I was concentrating on that. And Andy, whose brainchild it was, the director of the piece, was from Bath. He was in his third year, he finished up his studies, at the end of which he came back to Bath. And our friendship blossomed in the meantime, so I took to coming down and visiting him. And as well as being a theatre director, he also wrote and performed songs. So I used to come down and do gigs, and we did the Hat and Feather, and we played at Moles, and we played at the Bell, and we played at the St. Festival, we played at the Prom Wine Bar in Bristol, and St George's, and suddenly I was introduced to this incredible scene around here. And so not only had Andy kind of opened the door to the world of theatre, he'd introduced me to the local scene in this area, and I was blown away, and I thought, oh, one day I'm going down this. So, fast forward a few years. And that's it. I came to deliver. I persuaded my wife to come. She was looking for a degree course, and I persuaded her to come and study at Bath University, and our friendship blossomed, and I played lots of gigs with Andy. But as happens, we both, as I mentioned earlier on, I had a young family, he had a young family as well, and you start getting busy. You get busy with your lives, you get busy with your kids, and then you start having to make more money to pay for your kids. And so we kind of, that friendship sort of waned a little bit, I have to confess, which is a real shame, because when you most need it, you tend to kind of neglect the people that you should be, friendships you should be nurturing. Anyway, one day on Facebook, so this is obviously coming closer to the modern day, he posted on Facebook that they found a lump on his neck. They cut it out, thinking it was benign, but discovered that underneath it was there was a cancer, and it was a form of lymphoma, and that can spread around the system quite quickly. So they blasted him with chemotherapy and radiotherapy. And I remember going to visit him during this time, thinking I'd offer tea and sympathy. And Andy, being Andy, he wasn't having it. He was bringing me cups of tea and looking after me. Anyway, he went through the whole course of treatment, and at the end of which, another posting appears on Facebook, and he said, well, that's it. He said, they've cut me, they've burnt me, they've poisoned me, now let the healing begin. And then there was this beautiful deluge of comments from all his family and friends, just saying all sorts of lovely things. And I looked at it and I thought, that looks like one of your songs, mate. It sounded to me like an Andy, it's Andy Bird, and I don't know, some of you might know, but yeah, and I just thought, that sounds like one of your songs. So I thought, wouldn't it be great to take his words and the words of all his friends and family and create a song for Andy. So this is my tribute to Andy Burton, to whom I'm so grateful for introducing me to the world of theatre, to the creative scene around here. And it's called Let the Healing Begin. It goes like this. Treatment begins today. They've cut you and they've poisoned you. Scars they will remain for a while. It's like some awful play with no one there to call the cue. Would you push through the pain this time? So let the healing begin. Good times they are ready. Let the healing begin. Amen, we all say. Let the healing begin. Strong and sure and steady. Let the healing begin today. Well, you can't taste anything. Senses have gone too long. Spice has lost its sting, and beer's a distant dream. But once you beat this thing, we'll invite you to our table. We'll laugh and dance and sing, and shout and cry and scream. Andy, anyway, thank you for all you've done for me. Thank you for your support. Thank you for introducing me to the world of theatre. Thank you for all the opportunities you've given me working. Thanks for all the beers, all the laughter we've had together. Thanks for not dying.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, I do love you.
I love you too, man. I really do.
Anyway. So at the end of the day, the show finished ages ago. When you take down the sound and you take down the lights and all the razzmatazz, we're just people together. And I think that's what really, really, really matters. Yeah? And we share the love and we pass on the love. And it's how we move among each other, how we interact, really is the key thing to all of this craziness, I think. And since we are all together, I just thought it'd be really nice. I'm going to do one last song, and this will be the end, and it's called The End. And this for me is the end of a really crazy journey. And thank you so much for joining me tonight. And thanks to those of you, I know some of you have been to all three of the Think of A shows. I think you should get a long service medal or something for that. It started out as a really stupid idea, but it just wouldn't go away, so I had to see it through, and yeah. So thank you so much. So this is the end. This is the end of me. After I've gone, I really hope that when it's all over and I've gone, that maybe I'll have left some kind of positive influence among all of you and maybe other people as well. And you never know, maybe one day you'll hear one of my songs and you'll want to sing along. That'd be really special. But in the meantime, I think it'd be really nice if we could just come together now and sing as one. Yeah, we've all just done some singing. I've got some woohoos for you on this one, so it's dead easy. But what would be really good, I think we should all just move around. I'm going to come down among you. I'm going to move around with you, okay? So this is called The End. It goes like this.